Now, Lucy lives in Graydon, and she has a cat called Fluffy. She cares about her cat's nutrition and health, and she's also conscious about her environmental footprint. She loves to spoil her cat with treats, but when she walks into a pet store, she can't find a single treat out there that's marketed sustainable. We identified this as a gap in the market and have come up with a solution. Did you know that cats eat crickets when they're out and about anyway? It's totally natural to them. Did you know also that crickets can actually be ground into a cricket flour? Our solution is a cricket flour-based cat treat. And this is what we're expecting it to look like when it's the final product. A nutritious and sustainable cat treat, packaged environmentally friendly in 50-gram packages. Now you might wonder, why crickets? Crickets are a great source of protein and have many environmental advantages. First of all, less water. Like I said, the competitors are using 250 litres of water just to produce 30 grams of protein for a treat bag. Now, our product uses 250 millilitres of water to produce the same. It also has less emissions, less space and feed required through cricket farming. Crickets also are fast breeding, and overall there's a great conversion of resource input to protein output with crickets compared to traditional meat sources. Plus, crickets have been found to be the most popular taste in research conducted on cats and dogs. Of all insects, that is. Now, the New Zealand market. New Zealand is a nation of pet lovers. 64% of Kiwi households own a pet. The cat treat market is worth 27 million, and the wider pet industry is worth a whopping $1.8 billion in New Zealand. So there's great potential for growth in New Zealand, but also there's export potential as New Zealand exports 2/3 of the pet food that's produced in the country. The total cat population in New Zealand is 1.1 million cats. Now, with 1 out of 3 Kiwis saying that they consider themselves environmentally conscious, that makes at least 350,000 cats out there that are owned by someone who's caring about the environment and should be buying EcoPaws treats. Now, for our market validation, we went out and spoke to shop owners, pet owners, and also vet in person and via survey. And the key insights that we found was that there's no current sustainable pet food option out there, and that people were open-minded about feeding insects in general, and that the majority of people found feeding whole crickets a little bit gross, and they prefer to feed biscuits ground up. And most importantly, this morning we managed to sell 13 units, so we have a total of $120 in revenue sitting in our bank account. Now, we know there's a market and that we can get revenue. The question is, can we make it profitable? We have decided to use contract manufacturing because of the expertise and the ability to scale. And a conservative estimate of the cost per pack would be $3.45. Now, our market validation told us that most people are currently buying their pet food at pet shops or supermarkets. We think that pet shops are a sensible channel for us. That's because the pet shop owners can educate customers on the product, and there's an opportunity for impulse buying when you're buying other products. And lastly, the premium branding works quite well with the pet shops. Taking into account the retailer's margin, we estimate that we could make a profit of $1.50 per unit, or 16%. Now, there's 500 suitable pet stores in New Zealand we have identified, and assuming 100% penetration and 10 units per shop per week, we estimate a 2.3 million potential revenue for this product. Now, if you're interested in supporting our mission, please come and see and talk to us. Our mission is to create better pet food for New Zealand and together improve our environmental footprint.
Congratulations, guys. That was well presented and well laid out slides there. Just walk me through the validation again. You said you spoke to a vet. Why did you talk to a vet?
So we spoke to a vet to ensure that the crickets were safe for the cats. So we did research on it. We wanted to get a primary source as well, and that she said that cats do like crickets and it is good for them.
And the validation, so you did pet shop owners and cat owners, is that right?
Yeah, we spoke to pet shops just to get sort of an aggregated consensus of what, rather than talking to 100 pet pet owners, we could just talk to one pet shop owner who will give us pretty much aggregated thoughts. And in addition to that, we realised that cats are quite tricky in terms of their nutrition, and a lot of cat owners are concerned about the vitamins and amino acids. There's quite a few things to consider, and so we just wanted to make sure that, talking to our vet, that we were on top of those things.
Well done, guys. Just a quick question on contract manufacturing. Where are you going to get that organised from? And also, are you supplying direct to consumer or to business? What's that business model look like in terms of revenue to 2.3?
So we've got a slide where we've got a couple. So there are multiple options in New Zealand for pet food. Keep going. Sorry, while she's looking, there's one on options, but there's like Animates, I believe, and Pet Food New Zealand were our chosen possible suppliers for pet food. Basically, we're just taking traditional cat food and taking out the meat and putting insect meal inside, and that seems like a pretty viable thing from that perspective. So contract manufacturing, there are Addiction Foods, who we have a contact with. We haven't had a chance to talk about that on Sunday. And in terms of revenue, that was in terms of a $9 sale at a pet shop, assuming a 30% revenue cut, like 8% storage and distribution, and I think 10% advertising promotion, something around that. So we considered all of them, and that's how we got to that number. So that's our $1.50 is after a retail store sells it, and we're just going to sell it to stores. Obviously, you can do it through distributors and things like that, but we're just keeping it kind of simple. There's no need for us necessarily to get involved. They seem, open to us getting into their supply chain.
What will your setup costs be, and how much do you need to get going, and how will you do that?
So with an estimate of about 5,000 unit production run, at $3.45 a unit, that's about $17,000, just under 20 grand, basically. And then that's basically all we need. There's not much legal compliance. Contract manufacturer should do that. In terms of like storage it after the contract, we'll probably get a sale for that first. It's mostly just our time. So unless we take a wage, but if we just assume commission or just put ourselves down for free,
something like 20 to 30k kind of out of pocket costs before you start seeing revenue. And how will you fund that?
What we can do to get investors or just put some cash in.
You have to win the competition. That should take a good chunk out of it, shouldn't it?
So just raising funds from like angel investors or personal investment, friends and family, just traditional $20,000 to $30,000. $20,000 seems like a reasonable starting estimate, and then we can just raise that through friends, family, and angel investors.
In terms of how did you actually, sorry if I missed it, but in terms of actually making the product and the ingredients that went into it, like is this actually something that you've made, this is just showing us something, so what have you actually solved in terms of the product?
So we've taken pre-orders for that product, but with crickets instead of chicken. That is chicken meal in a container, and we believe we can produce that.
Okay, but you haven't actually created it?
We have not yet.